Video notice from We the People to our federal legislators regarding Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Notice to the House of Representatives to impeach Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. We the people of the 50 American states, as seen in the bills and declarations of rights in the 50 state constitutions, sui juris, am serving you with this notice so that you and your agents may provide immediate due care. Please take notice that we the people hold all political power and are the creators of all government in our nation, both state and federal. Government was created for the protection, security, and benefit of the people. All officers of government are our trustees and are accountable directly to the people. And sui juris means we're coming in and of our own rights, not under any legal disability or the power of another. And due care means just, proper, and sufficient care, the absence of negligence. Constitutional evidence: the people have all political power. The Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stands pledged to the preservation of a republican form of government, and subject to this limitation only, they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such manner as they may think expedient. Virginia Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. That all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amenable to them. And inalienable means it cannot be bought, sold, or transferred, and amenable means accountable, liable to punishment. Vermont Constitution, Chapter 1, Article 6. That all power being originally inherent in and consequently derived from the people, therefore all officers of government, whether legislative or executive, are their trustees and servants, and at all times, in a legal way, accountable to them. Maxims of Law, 51.0. All political power is inherent in the people, by decree of God. Thus, none can exist except it be derived from them. Maxim of Law, 96H. One is a servant who is employed by a master to perform service in his affairs, and whose physical conduct and performance of the service is controlled by the master. Officers of government are servants to we the people. Vermont Constitution, Chapter 1, Article 6. That all power being originally inherent in and consequently derived from the people, therefore all officers of government, whether legislative or executive, are their trustees and servants, and at all times, in a legal way, accountable to them. Security is the principal office of government. Please take notice that all constitutional government was created to promote the general welfare of the people, ensure our rights, and to provide for the common defense of the people, which includes securing our borders at all times. Missouri Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. That all constitutional government is intended to promote the general welfare of the people, that all persons have a natural right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the enjoyment of the gains of their own industry, that all persons are created equal and are entitled to equal rights and opportunity under the law, that to give security to these things is the principal office of government, and that when government does not confer this security, it fails in its chief design. United States Constitution Preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Right of remonstrance. Please take notice that it is the absolute guaranteed right of the people to provide our trustees and servants to frequent recurrence of the fundamental principles of law, instruct our representatives, and to obtain redress of grievances. Maine Constitution, Article 1, Section 15. The people have a right at all times, in an orderly and peaceable manner, to assemble to consult upon the common good, to give instructions to their representatives, and to request of either department of the government, by petition or remonstrance, redress of their wrongs and grievances. Maxim of Law 51Q. A frequent recurrence to fundamental principles and a firm adherence to justice, virtue, and original law are indispensably necessary to preserve the blessings of liberty and good government. Remonstrance, a formal protest against the policy or conduct of the government or certain officials drawn up and presented by aggrieved citizens. Failure to secure our borders. Please take notice that we the people wish to hold the Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and the Department of Homeland Security accountable for failing to secure the southern border and protect the people from enemies foreign and domestic. On July 7, 2022, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas issued Executive Order GA-41, which authorized and empowered the Texas National Guard and the Texas Department of Public Safety to respond to the illegal immigration due to the failures of the federal government in securing the southern international border. This executive order documents the flagrant illegal activity which is ravaging the southern border of Texas, leaving it unprotected and unsecured, allowing foreign enemies to freely enter. Is it not the duty and responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security and its agents to secure the border at all times and prevent any illegal and illicit activities from occurring, let alone allowing anyone to unlawfully enter into the United States through the southern border? Maxim of Law 51K. The law is not to be violated by those in government. Maxim of Law 51B. The government is to be subject to the law, for the law makes the government. Texas Governor Abbott's Executive Order. Executive Order number GA-41 relating to returning illegal immigrants to the border. It says, whereas securing the international border is the federal government's responsibility, but President Biden has refused to enforce the immigration laws enacted by Congress, including statutes mandating detention of certain immigrants who have claimed asylum or committed a crime. And whereas an immigrant's journey to the United States can even prove fatal, as evidenced by the recent discovery of 53 dead bodies inside a smuggler's truck, and by a recent report from a United Nations agency describing our southern border as the deadliest land crossing in the world during President Biden's first year in office. And whereas at least 42 subjects on the terrorist watch list have been arrested while attempting to cross the border illegally since January 2021, and an unknown number have crossed while evading detection, demonstrating that an insecure border is a pathway for terrorists to enter the United States. And whereas President Biden's failure to protect our border has necessitated action by the state of Texas to ensure public safety and to defend against violations of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. And whereas I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, issued a disaster proclamation on May 31, 2021, which has been amended and renewed in each subsequent month effective through today, certifying under Section 41.8.014 of the Texas Government Code that the surge of individuals unlawfully crossing the Texas-Mexico border posed an ongoing and imminent threat of disaster for a number of Texas counties and for all state agencies affected by this disaster. And whereas President Biden's failure to faithfully execute the immigration laws enacted by Congress confirms that he has abandoned the covenant in Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, that the United States shall protect each state in this union against invasion, and thus has forced the state of Texas to build a border wall, deploy state military forces, and enter into agreements as described in Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution to secure the state of Texas and repel the illegal immigration that funds the cartels. Treason against the state. Please take notice that the federal government is required by law to guarantee to every state protection against invasion. Treason against the state shall consist of levying war against it, adhering to its enemies, or giving them aid and comfort. We the people have witnessed our government allowing unprecedented amounts of illegal aliens to enter through our southern border while providing them aid, comfort, food, and shelter, including relocating them throughout our nation via buses and flights in the middle of the night. As trustees, servants, and agents of the people, you swore an oath to protect all people from enemies foreign and domestic. Are you protecting the people when you leave our border wide open and allow undocumented illegal aliens to freely enter into our country? Please provide the clear grant of constitutional authority where we the people delegated to any servant, trustee, or agency, specifically the Department of Homeland Security, the authority to provide aid and comfort to our enemies. Failure to provide the grant of authority means your actions are a direct trespass against the people with full knowledge, intent, and malice. Here is constitutional evidence beginning with the Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 28. Treason against the state shall consist only in levying war against the state or adhering to its enemies or in giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or confession in open court. Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 22. Treason against the state shall consist only in levying war against it or adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort, and no person shall be convicted of treason except on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. Inaction is a trespass against the people. Please take notice that the 51 constitutions are the trust indentures to which all trustees and servants are strictly bound. All officers of government, whether federal or state, swear an oath to faithfully and impartially discharge all duties of their office and to support the Constitution of the states and the United States. Do you believe that the Department of Homeland Security and Secretary Mayorkas are not bound by their oath and affirmation? As a United States House of Representatives, you have the sole power of impeachment. If you fail to take necessary action to ensure the will of the people is met, we will consider your inaction a direct trespass against the people with full knowledge, intent, and malice. Here is constitutional evidence in the United States Constitution, Article 6, Section 3. The senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislatures and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 5, Impeachment. The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Maxim of Law, 84C. Punishment is due if the words of an oath be false. Maxim of Law, 84D. An oath is indivisible. It is not to be held partly true and partly false. Giving aid to our enemies. Please take notice that it is the absolute responsibility of the Department of Homeland Security to protect the people against 1. Counterterrorism and homeland security threats, and 2. To secure U.S. borders and approaches, as the Department of Homeland Security secures the nation's air, land, and sea borders to prevent illegal activity while facilitating lawful travel and trade. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has documented the many key failures of the department through Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and his inability to fulfill his duties in protecting and securing the southern border, while keeping we the people safe and secure as sworn by his oath of office. No person shall hold an office who has given aid and comfort to thy enemies. Evidence in the United States Constitution, Amendment 14, Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress, or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each House, remove such disability. Maxim of Law 4F. Faith must be observed. An agent must not violate the confidence reposed in him. Maxim of Law 92AA. The deprivation of any rights may be punished. Levying war against the people. Please take notice that the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is acting in maladministration and violating his oath of office by failing to take the necessary actions to protect and secure our southern border. Your actions are levying war against we the people, which constitutes treason and is a criminal act of trespass and malice against the people. Furthermore, Secretary Mayorkas has committed gross negligence by refusing to take the necessary action to prohibit and stop the massive influx of migrants from illegally entering into our nation, while failing to provide safety and security to the states and the people. Evidence, Maximum of Law 29H. Gross negligence is equivalent to fraud. Maximum of Law 44N. To commit an act and not to prohibit one when in your power is the same thing, and he who does not prohibit or forbid when he can prevent it is in fault, or does the same as ordering it to be done. Wish, order, and demand. It is therefore our wish, order, and demand that the legislators immediately impeach the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. As trustees of the people, you swore by oath to uphold the Constitution, provide for our defense, general welfare, and the domestic tranquility of the people. You therefore are not allowed to let the people of this nation suffer while trustees sit silent, allowing invasions to occur on our borders. Any man or woman who decides to suppress this notice agrees to pay $100,000 per infraction, and any disputes by any public officials and or private actors who are bound by contract to the state and federal constitutions agrees to have these matters heard before an arbitrator of my choice. Furthermore, if you believe that you are not accountable to the people or that you have authority to allow harm and infringements upon the rights, safety, and security of the free people, please provide the constitutional provision that grants you such privileges. All responses must be submitted by affidavit, sworn under penalty of perjury, within 5 days of receiving this notice, or you agree by acquiescence all statements in this notice to be true and fact. Please send your affidavit via certified mail to the sender of this notice or post publicly. This notice shall stand as evidence in all courts of record of the people's demand to our trustees calling for immediate action to impeach the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. This notice is sent to you in peace and with the love of Christ, so that you may provide due care to those who have all political power, the people. Final instructions. To participate in the exercise of your lawful right to remonstrance, a link is provided in the description box for emailing this notice to selected government officials. You may click on the link, fill in your information, and hit submit, and this notice will be emailed to the individuals listed on the notice. You may also print out a copy of this notice on legal-size paper, single-sided, and mail by certified return receipt. Keep the original for yourself and mail copies to the names listed on the notice. This becomes evidence against them if they fail to respond. The only way change will come is if more people will take action. Help us secure our borders again. This is an easy way for you to be involved. Submit this notice and forward this video to others. Knowledge is power. Share the knowledge. Americans from any state may sign this notice. Thank you for watching.